Hey guys, welcome back once again to another episode of Bobcat Corner. This is episode number 31. Welcome back. This is Stephen Vitt again. And we're just going to be talking a little bit about Ohio Bobcats football. And as you can see, we're getting towards the end of the regular season. We only have a couple more games to go in the regular season before, everything gets determined as far as the standings, who gets to go to the conference championship games, and in the case of the Ohio Bobcats, they're well in the mix when it comes to the Mid American Conference championship picture. As you'll see here shortly, the conference standings for the MAC goes like this. The Ohio Bobcats are in a three-way tie for first place in conference play with the 5-1 record. They're tied along with the Bowling Green Falcons and the Miami, Ohio Redhawks at 5-1. Overall win-loss record: Ohio Bobcats, they're 7-3. Bowling Green and Miami, Ohio, they're both 6-4. And even behind those three teams, you still have a couple other teams that are still fairly in the mix if things go right for them, such as the Toledo Rockets. We're going to be talking quite a bit about them here in a minute. At 4-2, 7-3 overall record. Buffalo Bulls, 4-2 conference record, 6-4 overall. Western Michigan Broncos, 4-2 conference record, 5-5 overall. And even Northern Illinois Huskies, 3-3 conference record, 6-4 overall. But by all intents and purposes, it's really down to three teams at least for the MAC championship, and only the top two teams get to go to Detroit to play for the MAC championship. And if you're an Ohio Bobcats fan, you have to be feeling good about yourself right now, because going into this season, you had a lot of questions to ask about this team, how it was going to be set up, what the roster was going to look like, how we were going to perform, and how we were going to react to certain things when challenges came our way. But as you guys can tell, we have a 7-3 overall record. We're 7-3, and we're looking pretty good right now. We obviously have an idea and an understanding of what we want to do as a football team. And you can't argue with that, especially with these last few games that we've been playing. We have been showing what we can do when we're motivated, when we're focused, when we're disciplined, and when we have a great idea of what we're doing. And really, it's just been clicking the last few games for us, with the only exception being that Miami of Ohio game, which I might briefly discuss here later on as a reference point. But really, what I want to talk about is this upcoming game, and it's basically the title of this video: taking on Toledo. Now, Toledo is no joke. Let me just start off, first and foremost, the Toledo Rockets, they're no joke. As I said, going into this season, the Toledo Rockets were 1/1A, along with Miami of Ohio, as the teams that are leading the way in the MAC. And I'm going to briefly go through individual stats for Toledo Rockets players so that I can give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And I also have a graphic set up, which I'm going to show you guys in a minute. And starting with stats, Toledo's quarterback has been Tucker Gleason. In 9 games, he has completed 167 274 pass attempts for 2,032 yards, for 19 touchdowns. And yes, he threw 7 interceptions so far this season, but it really has not thrown him off his game, those interceptions. And you have, talented running backs, really running back by committee sort of thing going on there for Toledo, but they're all reliable. They're all good. And I'm going to be talking about one running back in particular that we need to focus on in our strategy here. And also receiving, Toledo's really known for their breakout wide receivers. They have such a great idea of what they want to do in the pass attack on offense, particularly Jerwan Newton and Junior Vandeross III. Those are the two key wide receivers you got to watch out for if you're going to be watching Toledo on offense carefully. Jerwan Newton, in 7 games, he's had 52 receptions for 823 yards, for 10 touchdowns, Junior Vanderboss III, 10 games he's played in, 58 receptions, 653 yards for 4 touchdowns. And there's even, a couple other guys in the receiving game that I could talk about briefly, such as tight end Anthony Torres. Don't want to forget about him. He's had a successful campaign here. Looking up his stats real fast. Yeah, Anthony Torres, he's had 19 receptions for 241 yards and 6 touchdowns. So 6 touchdowns, that's pretty good even for a tight end. And those are just like some examples that could show you guys. And I'll give you a link to the stats that I'm looking at for Toledo to give you guys a better idea of what we're looking at here in our next opponent. Uh, the Toledo Rockets, they're just no joke. So I want to pull up the graphic here because I did this before, previously in the season when we played Kentucky. I might as well bring it back up here again, and also Central Michigan too. But here, Ohio at Toledo breakdown. I just want to go over these as quickly as I can. Let's just start it off. Number one, pressure the quarterback Tucker Gleason. This goes without saying, guys. I've always been a big advocate for this throughout the entire regular season. On defense, the Ohio Bobcats, they've got to get to the quarterback. It does not matter who it is. We have to put pressure on the opposing quarterback. Doesn't matter what kind of talent, skill set he has. Doesn't matter how mobile he is or how efficient of a passer he is. We've got to find a way to get to the quarterback. And I don't necessarily mean sack the guy. I mean just pressure him. Put hands up, get in his face, frustrate him, make him and move around on the field the way that he doesn't want to. Just, really frustrate the guy. That's really my definition of pressure when you're analyzing a defensive front. So the Bobcats defensive front, they just got to get to the quarterback somehow, some way. Whether you sack him or whether you just pressure him or you force him to make bad throws. That's basically it when it comes to pressure. So yeah, make sure you pressure Tucker Gleason. That's number one on my list for a reason. Number two, no big plays by Jerwan Newton or Junior Vanderross III. Now, I just went through the stats for the wide receivers for the Toledo Rockets for Jerwan Newton and Junior Vanderross III. Those two guys are the key breakout players at the wide receiver position for Toledo. They have proven continuously. They have proven so efficiently throughout the entire regular season that those guys are legit. When the ball is thrown to them, they can go up and get it. And if you're the secondary for the Bobcats, and I'm just going to say this as a note, the Bobcats on defense in the secondary, they have really clamped down last couple games. They've really tried to do much better in clamping down on the opposing passing offenses, which is good to see. For the Bobcats secondary, you got to be awake. You got to be alert. You got to make sure that you keep Newton and Vanderross ahead of you. You gotta take mental notes as far as where they're at on the field. Can't let them beat you. Can't let them make big plays at all. Can't let them go deep 20, 30 or so yards and make a big catch. Cannot let that happen. Now, if they get a short dump off pass for like 7 yards, 4 or 7 yards or whatever, fine, they can have that. But do not let them have big plays because that's going to hurt us. If we do let them have big plays like that, that's going to hurt us. And case in point, I'm going to mention this as a reference, the Miami of Ohio game. And I'm going to touch on this a little bit more, but we're going into an environment that's kind of similar to that Miami of Ohio game. And it's something that we got to be prepared for early and often because we were not awake enough in time during that game against Miami, and it really hurt us. So I'll touch more about that in a minute. But anyway, let's get back to the graphic here. Number 3, watch for Jaquez Stewart. Now, Jaquez Stewart, he's running back for the Toledo Rockets. And I mentioned this in parenthesis, offense/special teams. Jaquez Stewart, he's definitely a weapon on offense, which of course Toledo uses him as. But I'm also going to mention this on special teams, Jonquez Stewart can really hurt opponents. He's returned kickoffs, and he's even had a bust out a long one for 98 yards for one touchdown. Overall, 363 yards combined with all those kick returns. But Jonquez Stewart, he is that kind of guy. He is that kind of guy who can really hurt you on special teams if you're not paying attention to him. So whenever we're punting the ball to him, or we're just uh, a kickoff to him, we got to cover him. We cannot give him big holes to run through, because Jonquez Stewart is that kind of guy who can see those holes and go right through them. He can take it to the house on any given play on special teams. And if you're the Bobcats, you just cannot allow that to happen. Cannot allow that to happen. So keep Jonquez Stewart in front of you, especially on special teams. Don't let him bust out any big runs. It's just that simple. It really is that simple. Okay, let's get to number 4 on our graphic. Number 4 of this breakdown. Now, this is specifically for Parker Navarro, our quarterback for Ohio. Now, these last few games, Parker Navarro, he's been really kicking it into high gear lately. He's been having very good games, which I'm very pleased with. But for Parker Navarro in this game in particular against Toledo, he's got to read the secondary. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let's check out the defense for the Toledo Rockets. And if you guys check out the defensive stats for Toledo, you will see that Toledo, they're no slouches when it comes to intercepting the ball. When it comes to INTs, intercepting the ball, yeah, the Rockets are just there. So we just have like total ball hawks we got to deal with on their defense, such as Maxon Hook, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, Braden Alls. Those guys combined have 5 interceptions. Alls has 3 of them. We have Avery Smith with 2 interceptions, and also Nasir Bowers. He has 2 interceptions as well. He actually returned one for a touchdown. So you got to keep all of that in mind. We have a secondary that's really no nonsense. We're going up against a secondary that knows how to clamp down on pass attacks. And obviously, the Toledo Rockets, they're not going to be intimidated by us. I mean, they know that we're going to have explosive plays on offense, but they're not going to be intimidated by that. This is not that kind of team that we're dealing with. This is why I keep referencing Miami of Ohio, because Toledo is very, very similar to Miami of Ohio when it comes to structure and foundation. And obviously, I want to get past all that with the first 4 parts. I want to get to the 5th and final part. I want to put a little bit of emphasis on this. Number 5. Number 5. We're visiting Toledo, but so what? In parenthesis, I put atmosphere. Now, I've heard a lot of chatter lately about the fact that every time the Bobcats have traveled up to Toledo, the Glass Bowl, where the Toledo Rockets play, every time the Bobcats have traveled up north to play Toledo, there has been trouble. More often than not, there's been trouble. And that cannot be any kind of mental block whatsoever for this Bobcats team. That better not be a mental block for the Bobcats here this year. That's why I say, but so what? Because, okay, we have this, recent history of the Bobcats, having trouble in playing in Toledo, but so what? That's history. That doesn't mean it's going to happen this year. That's how you got to look at it. If you're playing on the Bobcats football team right now, or if you're a Bobcats coach on this coaching staff, that's how you have to view it. It's like, so what? Okay, that was like 5 or 6 years ago, for example, but this year is going to be different. Toledo is the only team standing in our way between us and an appearance in the MAC championship. So what do? You go right through that wall. You go right through that brick wall. Toledo Rockets, they are that brick wall. So guess what? We're going to go right through them. That's your mentality. If you're the Ohio Bobcats right now, guys, Ohio Bobcats players, if you're even watching this, I don't know who's watching this. I always say it. I don't know who's watching this. But if you're playing for the Ohio Bobcats right now and you're listening to this, I'm just telling you guys right now, who cares? Go right through them. The Toledo Rockets are the brick wall. Fine, break it down. Break that brick wall down. Go to the glass ball. Just go to the glass ball and just take them down. Beat them. That's all I gotta do. That's you just keep it simple for yourselves, guys. That's it. You guys know what you want to do in every phase of the game. Offense, defense, special teams. You guys know what you want to be. You guys know what you want to do during the course of a game. So just execute your game plan. I mean, we got 2 games to go in the regular season. We already know what we want to do. So let's just do it. And who cares what the Toledo Rockets think? Who cares? And who cares about the atmosphere? I mean, yeah, it's going to be rowdy. It's going to be noisy. I don't doubt it. Toledo Rockets fans are going to be there. But so what? From a mentality standpoint, from just, you know, being emotionally, mentally prepared, it shouldn't bother you. So really, you just take care of business as the visiting team, and everything will sort itself out. That's it. So yeah, I just wanted to break this down for you guys briefly here. Pressure the quarterback Tucker Gleason. No big plays by Jerwan Newton or Junior Vanderross III. Watch for Jaquez Stewart, both on offense and special teams. Uh, for Parker Navarro, hopefully he's going to read the secondary well so he can make good passes, not just good runs, but good passes. And lastly, like I just said, we're visiting Toledo, but so what? It's just another game. That's all you guys have got to think about. This is just another game. So yeah, I just wanted to get this out there. It's a tight race for the top of the MAC standings, as you can tell. This has been one of those unusual kinds of regular seasons for teams like the Ohio Bobcats, but I'm just glad to be covering this for you guys. It's been a very interesting first year for me doing this. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Send me messages in the comments or email me. You know my business email, so just let me know what you guys think. Hope you guys have a good day or night whenever you're watching this, and I'll come back more with some more content. And just like one more note, it'll be early Thursday that I would do a live stream recapping this game between the Ohio Bobcats and Toledo Rockets. It's not going to be Wednesday night because it's going to be too late by the time they finish up. So just a quick note there. But anyway, I'm signing off. You guys take care and have a good day. Thanks. Bye.